Team Fortress 2 Classic, if you haven't heard already, is a source mod for TF2, aiming to recreate the game in a much more simple and, for lack of a better word, true form. But you didn't come here for a rundown on what the project is. I doubt anyone remotely in the loop of TF2 community hasn't heard of this project. The reason you're probably here is because you heard somewhere online that it just received some new weapons and want a rundown on them so you don't have to take off your $3,000 hat and actually play the mod for longer than a couple rounds. The new weapons, introduced in the brand new Fight or Flight update, all focus on a general theme of mobility, giving classes that sorely need some new movement options, such as Engineer and Pyro, some really fun new toys. Going from right to left in the class selection menu, I'll start with the Spy's new watch.
L'escampette.
That is a new spy watch bearing resemblance to the Deadbringer. While cloaked, your movement speed is increased by 30% in exchange for your new cloak training twice as fast, and losing 15% of it upon taking damage. It also has a unique cloaking and uncloaking sound. I don't think I've used this weapon often enough for my opinion on it to be taken too seriously, but I do feel like it could use a slight nerf. If you know how to juke, this watch is basically a direct upgrade. So long as you don't get hit, you can make it out of any unhappy situation incredibly easily. And due to your heavily increased movement speed, not getting hit is easier than ever. Using the watch is super fun though, so I don't think nerfing the movement speed is in order. Maybe making it so it takes slightly longer to cloak would be good. Making the tool more of a traversal and flashy shit weapon rather than an escape tool. Spy's good enough at escape already. One note, though, if disguised as Scout and using this watch, you should be able to spy walk and drain your cloak to increase your movement speed. Anything to make disguising more viable. Up next, the Engineer received a fun new toy. Replacing his teleporters with a set of 2 jump pads, he can seriously increase the mobility of him and his team, allowing for some super flashy new stunts. For the most part, teleporters are still better on offense and on longer maps, as traveling long distance is still made way easier through teleporters, but on defense and on smaller maps, like most Koth maps, using jump pads is a lot of the time the best pick, allowing your team to get up to routes only soldier scouts and demos could reach before, as well as allowing your team to move in as one, rather than going in one by one on teleporters. This synergizes super well with Pyro's new shotgun as well, making your friendly Pyros an airborne ambush class, able to take out the spam at the source rather than only dealing with the explosives they throw out. Speaking of explosives, Heavy has a rocket launcher now, and it's kind of overpowered. Giving Heavy burst damage rather than sustained allows him to much more efficiently deal with multiple targets in multiple places at once. Even if the total DPS is lower, Heavy having splash damage not only makes him an insane crit streak pocket, but also nets you a lot of kills you definitely did not deserve. The rockets the anti-aircraft cannon fires blow up mid-air at about mid-range, making going for air shots significantly easier, as well as allowing you to deal splash damage to opponents where you couldn't before. The new revving sound also makes my tinnitus act up. I think the best way to change this thing would be to make the rockets it fires actually be projectiles. At the moment they're hit scan, which is okay, but I think this makes the weapon a bit too easy to use. The AA cannon being a little better than stock is fine, but at the moment using it feels way easier than using the minigun. Double the reward the minigun provides. Making the hypothetical projectiles reflectable would be nice, as Pyro loses out on their ability to corner peek with flares against heavies when they're using this weapon. So a new way for Pyro to act back against the counter would be much appreciated. Heavy got a new melee in this update as well. Called the Chekhov's Punch, on hitting someone you store a guaranteed crit, which is shared between all 3 of your weapons. At exchange of all melee damage you take being critical, whether you're holding the weapon out or not. It's a really fun risk-reward weapon that gives the shotgun a lot more viability. Pairs really well with the AA cannon as well. Heaps of fun to use. Pyro got a couple of new toys as well, and god am I in love. I'll start with the melee and save the best for last. The Harvester is a scythe that tracks your afterburn damage, healing you 5 HP per tick and building up a heat meter, which I'll get back into in a minute. The scythe's healing is an incredibly helpful tool. As a Pyro, I run in for little bits of afterburn all the time, just to disrupt the enemy push and make it easier for my team to kill them for me. Doing this, of course, costs health, so a way to top off after doing that is incredibly helpful. You've got to be careful though, as dying while using the Harvester will extinguish all of your currently burning enemies. The Harvester also tracks afterburn off of defeated enemies, allowing you to heal and build up heat after an intense firefights as well. And on the heat function, as you deal afterburn damage, a heat meter will rise, taking about 2 full afterburn cycles to fill. Once heat is full, you get a devastating melee crit to take advantage of when going for picks and ambushes, which synergizes really well with Pyro's newest weapon. Oh, Twin Barrel, how I love you. How I love the way your smoky eyes gaze into mine. How I love how you blow me away with every new shot you release. I've yearned for your touch my entire life, begging for a tool just like you since the day I picked up my flamethrower. And you never let me... What? Don't look at me like that. I don't have a problem. You're the one with a problem. The Twin Barrel, Pyro's newest shotgun, does knockback damage to both you and your opponent. striking resemblance to the force of nature, Pyro having a gap-closing and mobility tool that doesn't instantly cut off half of my health pool is so helpful. Giving Pyro the flank routes and ambush techniques we've always deserved. Its wide horizontal spread makes it a joy to aim, too. While you don't do more than chip damage if you're not within breathing distance, hitting every single pellet on an opponent brings a tingling tightness to my pants I haven't felt since I landed my first flare combo. The beautiful thing makes Pyro an even better supportive player as well, allowing them to more efficiently extinguish teammates or get to a good distance for protecting sentry guns, as well as sending you straight to the skybox when used with the engineer's jump pad, encouraging even the most selfish of us to ensure our engineers and their sentry guns are well cared for. Absolutely no complaints with this weapon. It's a little finicky to get used to, but it's oh so perfect. In conclusion, the fighter... What? You want me to actually talk about the brick? What's there to talk about? It's a fucking brick. It wasn't even announced in the update page. I'm pretty sure it's not even a new weapon. The scout actually just picked it up off the ground. Fine. The brick, Scout's new secondary, is basically just the cleaver, removing the finisher potential of the pistol in exchange for pretty sturdy mid-range damage. Lobbing the cinder block into your opponent's head deals about 50 damage and sends them flying back about a foot, tanking their movement speed for a moment, unrevving heavies as well, giving Scout better chances against the big man, and helping the team push against the defensive beast. It also serves as a serviceable and satisfying finisher, if you can hit them reliably on retreating opponents. Now, in conclusion, this update fucking rocks. It's the most fun I've had in TF2 in ages. If you're yet to check it out, the trailer and download link are in the description. Go play it whenever you get the chance. Right, also, subscribe and all that YouTube nonsense. Really helps me out. If you don't care enough to play the update, but still want to see the weapons in action, I uploaded the frag montage the other day. It'll be in the iCards.